early on they were talking about the Republicans didn't have their shit together. Like, there's no brand associated with what do they stand for? We talked about that. And then the Democrats, to me, they have fallen apart with no brand for what they stand for at all. And I think that's what undermined this whole... Well, yeah, but people like the bravado of Trump. They like the fact that,
When you look at how he did with Latino men, with black men, that's a
big
part of it.
And with white women. So.
Maybe it's just things are fucking terrible. And we need some sensibility. Yeah. Because, just talking to my loved ones. If Harris got 47.5% of the vote, it was a blowout, actually. And I think I called it. There's always a 3% hidden Trump vote. The history shows it. 40 of the 47.5 was not Trump. Mm-hmm. That's all. And the people have spoken.
It was not pro-Kamala.
No.
Well, and again, look at what Dearborn, Jill Stein, 20%, of the vote.
Did she get 20?
Yeah.
She almost came in third in
Dearborn.
Because, the projections that she would do 40 amongst Arabs.
Right.
So obviously Dearborn's broader than that, but that would make sense if she came in at 20 in Dearborn.
But this was all known.
Yes.
And yet we're being fed from the outside in.
White women are coming.
Oh my God! Oh, did you see?
Gender gap is only 10.
Did you see that that thing in the Detroit News?
What thing?
Exactly. That's just
and I was sitting here thinking
what a fucking bunch of goofs over there, right? Like for 2 cycles, you're the conservative paper, and you're not endorsing anyone. Funny thing is nobody noticed.
But this should be a wake up call to everybody. I mean, things are different. Things are worse. Things that you think are resonating with people are not. And just the whole playbook thing doesn't work. I mean, it just does not work.
Well, here's the thing. What are you doing on the phone, bro?
Responding to a text. We're not on, are we?
Well, we are. And I'm sorry for being late, but it was a bloodbath out there on day one. There were Nazis marching in the street, and I had to get through. Roll it. Just getting ready.
I spent last week in Detroit processing absentee ballots at Cobo Hall, or TCF, or Huntington Place, or whatever they're calling it this year.
I want to thank the great people of Detroit for participating in the great experiment known as American democracy. These very fine people have not sat at home. They've participated while you're bitching.
These are poll challengers who stand over us to make sure we don't cheat. They worked for free.
Participating in democracy.
Suckers. The 4 of us at each processing table got paid $300 every day for 3 days' work to process 600 votes. That's $6 a vote. And that didn't account for the supervisors, hall rental, the coffee, or the Danish. It was all on the up and up at the voting tables, but looking at the ballot, I realized I'd done a journalism piece on at least 40% of the primary office seekers. That includes the candidates for president, senator, Congress, state rep, prosecutor, treasurer, sheriff, clerk, register of deeds, judges for the district, circuit, and Supreme Courts, even the school board. Oh, the stories. The fake priest, the tax cheats, the war criminal, the womanizers. It was glorious until the reality of the American political scene dawned upon me. We're fucked.
Remember to vote, and vote often.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's the No Bullshit News Hour with my main man, Charlie LeDuff and Karen Dubitz.
Let's just breaking this. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
And the politicians lie to you. The media lies to you. The pollsters lie to you. Cable news lied to you. How do you know your investment statements are not lying to you? Remember, if you're not managing your wealth, that's some unseen guy working for a big bank, jockeying some unknown algorithm, but he's not making decisions based on what's best for you. Why is the stock market going up and gold is going up? Why would a commodity be going up? Because nobody wants to buy American debt. We're in a bad spot. You don't know what to do. You're not supposed to know what. You're supposed to go to work and do what you do. Luke Nowacki will handle your money. He'll tailor a financial plan specifically for you, from annuities to retirement accounts to college savings. He'll keep you up to date and always a phone call away. Let Luke Nowacki worry so you don't have to. Luke Nowacki, 248-663-4748. And also the No Bullshit News Hour on this day after the national election that went on for fucking
Ever.
9 years. Are you an entrepreneur looking for a safe and socially responsible real estate investment? I asked Bobby Kennedy, dude, what are we going to do about end-of-life care? It's terrible, right? Gretchen Whitmer could not deliver Michigan. She's dead. Her career's dead. Why? The nursing homes, really, if you think about it. It really comes down to that. Everybody ignored it. Working girls, working boys, we didn't forget it. What do we do with our elders? We can put them in a good, wholesome, safe, communal place. If you're an investor, you can be part of this. Archangel has formed partnerships with a nursing school and Majestic Residences, a home-based assisted living franchise system. The partnership provides authentic caregivers with the tools and training to manage their own care homes that you invest in. And Archangel investors in that real estate can feel secure in both their investment, their return, and the care that the elders get. The care is genuine, the owners are local, and Archangel has Overwatch. If interested in this opportunity, contact Archangel at 989-614-0416. Joining us, Jason Cable Rowe.
Cable.
Cable. Is it cable?
It is cable.
Is it really?
It is. My dad's favorite movie when I was born was The Ballad of Cable Hogue, starring Jason Robards.
I thought he was making
an alcoholic, womanizing ne'er-do-well in the Old West who stumbles across an oasis in the Arizona desert and plants his flag and starts his own little town along the incoming train line.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So Jason Robard in the Cable Guy.
Wow.
Cable Guy.
Who knew?
Anyway, so Jason, the former executive director of the Michigan Republican Party, left because of the nonsense of 2020 and all of that. Now you're pretty much a big-time strategist.
Huge.
Right? Well, you won probably the most hotly contested, most expensive congressional races, basically out of the Lansing area. Tom Barrett was been here. How'd that turn out for you, bro?
We won. It should be the most expensive, if not in the top 5. It'll be over $40 million for one House seat.
One House seat?
One House seat. And at one point, there was consideration when I was talking to people in Washington in the Speaker's office and in the Majority Leader's office last night that Tom could end up being the 218th seat, giving the Republicans a one-seat majority. But as we're looking across to California and we get more results, it looks like the incumbents in California are going to survive. There was a lot of concern that they would lose, and we may pick up 3 House seats in California.
So we might as well keep going with that, because I woke up this morning going, fuck, I'm tired. Because I did Polish TV, Israeli TV, Glenn Beck, I was... for a minute, people are interested in us, but they don't know a fucking thing about us. So give us the big sweep. We're going to go short today because everybody's going to be dialing around. But, give us the sweep of the country and Michigan. What do we got here? What's happened?
Well, listen,
this is actually really important because this is the cheat sheet.
Everyone knows there was 7 battleground states, and there was a lot of debate on who's going to win the Sun Belt states and who's going to win the Blue Wall, the Rust Belt states. And it looks like Trump's going to end up winning all 7 of them. And not only win all 7, but dragging along probably a pretty significant Senate majority. He picked up Ohio, West Virginia, Montana. Republicans are leading narrowly. It is margin of error in Pennsylvania and Nevada. Democrats are narrowly leading here in Michigan and in Wisconsin. So, it's going to be a 4 to 6 seat pickup just in the U.S. Senate. And Republicans could end up with a 10 to 12 seat majority if all those California seats. Now, we won't know for weeks because California, for some reason, can't figure out how to count votes like other red states like Florida seem to be able to do. But just talking to some consultants in California today, they feel pretty bullish that all the incumbents will survive and we maximum probably 3 pickup seats in the state.
Okay, so just in short, see if we got this, Karen. Trump's won the popular vote. He's won the Senate back, and most likely he's got the House with a couple of more seats.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to Michigan. What was the spread here? What we know about your congressional race? What about the Senate race? And what about the state house?
Yeah. So the U.S. Senate race, this is a huge race. It's gotten a lot of national and even international attention. When I woke up this morning, Mike Rogers had a very slight lead. Kalamazoo County came in. Slotkin took a very slight lead, I think about 3,600 votes. That is one vote per precinct in the state of Michigan. So anyone that says your vote doesn't count, that's an example of your vote counting. The remaining votes to be counted are in Wayne County. So depending on where they are, who knows?
Meaning that means who's still outstanding? Is it Detroit, which I don't think it is because that piece we showed you, that was the absentee, and we started a week
Well, you were
ago.
there to make sure that was working right. So it's had to be somewhere outside of a TCS.
Oh yeah, I was on it. What was not to get lost, but what was interesting in 2020, the way because there wasn't fraud. You know it, and I know it. The way that you could tell 150,000 bogus ballots didn't come in at 4 a.m. is because the guy sitting in chair 1, me, logged them in, logged the envelopes in, and then the envelope got opened, then the ballot tab got torn off, then the ballot got processed. So there was an electronic timestamp. So you could just see there wasn't 150,000 votes at 5 a.m. This year there was no computer, which I tell you, I didn't see any fraud. It was on the up and up. But at a time when we're worried about the sanctity of it, to have the redundancy didn't make sense to me. It was almost like we were children. First envelope. Look, is it signed? Yes, it's signed. Cut it open. Give it to him.
So is that for accuracy, or is that just...
It was just for accuracy, right? Because, it's human error. When you scan the envelope and then you process the ballot, you better have one envelope and you better have one ballot. Right. Sometimes, like when you're the clerk at the grocery store and you scan the corn and you thought you scanned it, and you didn't, but you put it in the bag anyway. That's all it was. So they didn't want that now. Now it's like one at a time. And instead of feeding all of these ballots in, it was one at a time. It was watching paint dry. And the supervisor, because I'm LeDuff, you know what I mean? You couldn't please this fucker. He was like my first stepdad. Nothing was ever good for these guys. It was just get off my fucking back, or I'm not coming back tomorrow.
But these are people that this is their opportunity to shine. This is their one. So you got to give them that and just
proceed. We had one of those. You may proceed.
Just let them go. But
okay, so so this one is still a coin flip.
It's a jump ball, yeah. And I think there'll probably end up being a recount no matter who wins.
Yes.
So I expect that, and we might see that in Pennsylvania. We might see that in Nevada.
Let me go back to Rogers for a minute. The Republicans blew that because they didn't take it serious as a toss-up. Because how much did Slotkin spend?
Oh, the number. I mean, her campaign has to be around $40 million, and that doesn't account for all the outside money that came in on her behalf.
$100 million?
But I also, you got to be fair about the map that they were looking at. When this election cycle started, there were arguably 10 pickup opportunities for Republicans in the country. And when you look at the list and the history, most of those other states had a history of electing Republican senators in recent years. In the last 50 years, we have 19 U.S. Senate races in Michigan, and Republicans won one time, and that was in 1994. So when you look at what was going on in those other seats, Pennsylvania has elected Republican senators, Nevada, Wisconsin, all these states looked a lot better because we had elected Republican senators in those states in the last decade or two. Michigan was not like that. And then you had Slotkin, who's one of the most formidable fundraisers in the country. I mean, her last congressional race, she raised $12 million for one House seat and had another $14 million that came in outside spending for her. So I think, the NRSC and the Senate Leadership Fund, the big DC PACs that fund the outside spending in these campaigns, looking at the map are like, well, Rogers could. And so his real challenge was to get himself in that top tier of races. And you saw Nevada kind of fall off because Sam Brown wasn't doing very well. You saw Kerry Lake start to fall off. Larry Hogan, former governor of Maryland, was running in a deeply blue state that we have no business even running in. He fell off.
In perspective, he's Delaware, Maryland.
Yeah.
Lake is Arizona.
Yep.
And what's the third one?
Sam Brown's in Nevada.
And he got blown out.
No, he's right now he has a slight lead in Nevada.
Okay, now, Mike.
But a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
Sam Brown wasn't on the map. Wisconsin, Eric Hovde wasn't on the map. They were there. Mike was ahead of all of them. And so then all of a sudden, a ton of money started flowing into Mike because he started looking like one of the better bets. And then maybe 3 weeks ago, the senatorial committee sent $6 million, or Senate Leadership Fund sent $6 million to Nevada because all of a sudden Sam Brown started closing in on the incumbent Democrat there, Jackie Rosen. And, all of a sudden the map got wider again, but they stayed committed to Mike. But you can't underestimate Slotkin. She somehow has convinced people she's a moderate. She's not, but
just
she's
money,
got an
dude.
image.
It's just money.
But what's, and I know, bear with me on this question, but what is the return on investment with that amount of money into a campaign? I mean, we talk about the money from an advertising standpoint that, Harris Wall spent, and just in political campaigns, even if it's just for the American people, what's the return on investment?
Well, for the people funding it, it is power, controlling the Senate, the House, the agenda. Listen, there's some ideologues. There's some rich ideologues that just want to see a conservative America that will spend money, but there's a lot of rich special interests that want Republicans in control because they find it beneficial to their business. So that's the ROI. But, it's funny you bring that up. When Alyssa Slotkin ran last time for that 7th district that Tom Barrett just won, the combined spending was $39 million for that one House seat. And in February, after that election, she announced for the U.S. Senate. So they spent $39 million for someone to 1 month into being sworn in for her term announces, oh, hey, I'm going to leave. Now imagine if she does lose this Senate seat. She will have cost them that House seat and the Senate seat if she doesn't prevail.
Okay, so I'm sitting there last night because I'm like, I got to go to bed. But these are some of my mad notes. I'm going to read them. You guys jump in. The big losers. The media and the pollsters are dead. You agree with that?
I do. But more the media than the pollsters. The pollsters, they're doing what they can, but it's hard to figure this stuff out when you don't have people in your pool of voters that you're trying to reach participating. And there was a New York Times column that was talking about the gap in college-educated men showing up, because a lot of these guys just don't participate in the poll. So you can't get a representative sample when these guys are dialing and sending out texts. And they do a lot of web-based polling now, because used to be, even 10 years ago, everything was landlines, all landlines. Then you started adding in mobiles because you were getting a lot more old people. So you were getting a more conservative sample of voters. So then they started working in mobile. Then people just, on your mobile phone, if you don't know the number, you just send it to voicemail. You're not answering a number you don't know. So then they start texting, and then there's web-based. So now usually you've got a hybrid of about 4 different ways that they're collecting
they
data.
Consistently, come on in. They consistently get it wrong.
They do, because people. So last cycle, people didn't want to admit that they supported Trump, and now these people just don't want to participate in the poll.
And that
you want to sit in?
Part of it.
Well, can we film you guys as you're?
Yeah, pull in a chair.
Well, I think you'll just want to film.
No, come on, be part of the program.
No.
Are you Sky TV?
Sky News.
Is that Australia?
No,
UK.
UK. That's okay.
You guys go.
That's okay.
That's a good Rupert Murdoch product,
You're
right
gonna
there.
start paying your fair share to NATO, motherfucker? Huh? They're back. We're like mating baboons. Everybody's here in Michigan for a day, and then here's what I'm gonna tell you, Sky TV. It's all bullshit. Math bullshit. Do you know what's going on with our auto jobs? Remember we had the UAW strike? They got this great contract. Everybody's getting laid off. They closed the plant in Warren. They're shutting it down in the east side of Detroit. The F-150, the Lightning, the Ford electric truck, that's gone dark. This is what's really going on. You know, Dearborn was important because that's where Ford's world headquarters are.
Hold on, can you?
That's it. Well, look at they're trying to direct me on my show. My show.
No, we want you to save that because the camera's not on.
No, you can ask me later. You can just, we'll fix it in post. No problem. All right, let's go to the next one. Jocelyn Benson, the Secretary of State.
Election Barbie.
Election Barbie who wants to run for governor. It's over for her, is it not?
It should be. I
Karen?
mean, we were told that illegal aliens can't vote in our elections And then they catch one, but they didn't catch one because the system caught him. The guy wanted to go change his ballot and went and asked for it back. That's the only way they caught a Chinese national voting in our elections, and then had to admit that because he already submitted his ballot, it's already in the system. It's going to be counted.
Oh, come on, Jason. You know that it's exceedingly rare that illegal immigrants vote, which everybody...
That's what I was told.
Everybody quotes the Brennan Center, the study they did. But you want to know, I looked into it real quick. Like, I got to know what they're talking about. Okay, right? Because when everything goes wrong in the United States, legislative body can't get things done. The courts are weaponized, what have you. Everybody's at each other's throat. The great thing about America is we call a grand plebiscite, that it's a jury of 165 million people.
Spell it.
It's with a C.
Plebici.
T-E?
Public school. Watch this. Phonetics. Pleb. Okay. Plebicite. And I want to thank the great people of Michigan for paying their taxes and sending me to public school to learn to read and write and think. And I always try to return that favor to my community. They really helped me in life.
And spell.
And our schools are shit. Okay, so Benson, you're out. Okay, next.
So wait.
Oh, yeah.
The video. Did you see the video of her?
Of her dancing?
Yes. I mean, and that is kind of reflective of what the governor's been doing and the whole night. So is that where we're moving now in terms of convincing people that we're capable of leading them? Dancing and the whole pandering, and that's too much for me.
Yeah, me too. Whitmer's dead. Okay.
Well, yeah, we're driven by clickbait now. I mean, you look at AOC and the squad, you look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, you look at Lauren, what's her name, out in Colorado, all these...
Boebert.
Lauren Boebert. All these
Boebert.
Pauls now think that, the way to attract voters is to act like a fool on social media.
Yeah. All right. So we're talking, you were talking pre-show about, you talked to a Democratic strategist who not only voted Trump, but badgered her husband to vote Trump. Yep. Why?
Two reasons. One, the transgender stuff, like just what's going on. Mm-hmm. And the second is abortion. And she's pro-choice, but she said the way they talk about abortion, it's like something to be proud of. Like they want to hold the fetus up in the air and say, look what I did. And there's no humility about it. There's no shame about it. Right. There's no stigma. It is like a virtue. If you got an abortion, somehow that makes you a better person. And she's just grossed out by...
But she was worried because... if Harris won, that ends the political career of Whitmer. Now that Harris lost, Whitmer can start running.
Well, that was a different person that said that, but they voted for Harris because they wanted to prevent Whitmer from running for president.
See, and I don't believe that Whitmer, I believe it's over because you couldn't even deliver Michigan for the Democrats. Like,
and I know we said we were going to talk about this later.
Hey, get out of my camera, motherfucker. And this is her good side, by the way.
We're trying to have a serious conversation here. But it's going to change. Everybody's waiting for the 7th, the 8th. We've got a mayoral election. We've got a governor's race, in 26. This is going to change the dynamics of that political chess game here in the state of Michigan drastically.
As I called this, I will tell you, I will call the governor's race right now. It's going to be Duggan versus John James. Just throwing that out there. Just bookmark that. UK Sky TV wants to ask something. Go ahead.
I mean, what's, I guess, shocking to people in the UK is the number of black people, of Latinos, of Arab Americans, Muslims, ethnic minorities, basically, who've come out in support of Trump. What do you guys make of that? I mean, you're in Michigan, so you see everything.
These are our loved ones and our neighbors and people we grew up with. So you guys don't get us. Like this, it's not working in the UK, right? You're not. First of all, it's too many people to absorb at once. UK has, for many decades, absorbed people all at once. Doesn't work for human beings. It's got to be controlled. But black people, white people, brown people, we've been here forever. And I think we all see there's no food in the cupboard. I can't put gas in the car. You don't wave fetuses around. A woman's right to choose. It's settled. We all agree with that. But it's being hyper-politicized. Tampons in the boys' bathroom. War everywhere. What are we doing in Europe? We baited them in. Oh, by the way, the wave of Arabs that you got all at once, we did that because of Iraq, didn't we? We did. Tony Blair fucked it up. George Bush fucked it up. We all see it. We're sick of war. We're sick of being broke. We're sick of paying for murder. And it's just come to be. It's pretty simple because we're all human beings and we all love our children. And we get along pretty good. We do. We get along really well.
When our politicians aren't trying to pit us against each other. That's more often what it is the Pauls exploiting differences.
But I also
where we all want to focus on our commonalities, the politicians want to split us up.
Can you let her speak? Stop mansplaining, motherfucker.
But I also think that group, that demographic, got tired of being taken for granted for so long and not getting anything back. And I think that, social media over time has been both good and bad as it relates to politics. But it has allowed people to have a conversation that they wouldn't otherwise have, to be able to get insight that they wouldn't otherwise have access to, and say, wait a minute. We've been asking for the same thing. We've been getting promises. We've been getting everything but results. Maybe let me do something different, or let me just pull back and see where the chips fall.
Well, and I point to your question, 4 things that I look at. One is Trump's rise in 2016 and who his audience was, which was working class people, not just white working class people. And people forget Barack Obama won the presidency because he won over the white working class.
Well, let me throw this in. In 2016, when they didn't pick it again, we don't get you folks. We're going to send Sky TV to Michigan for 3 weeks to understand you folks, right? And the New York Times and the New York Times and then they left. And now all of a sudden we're back. We don't get you folks, right? And Obama, we all flipped. Yeah. Working class, it's bad.
But as Trump was coming down that escalator, this is after we bailed out the big banks for the mortgage crisis, who didn't get taken care of, the people that lost their homes, people that lost their jobs, that lost their retirement savings. You had the auto bailout. So you had a bunch of bailouts and all the bigs got taken care of. Then the second wave was COVID, where the elites and the powerful got more powerful and more rich. So big government, big tech, big business, big media, big cities, and working class people, entrepreneurs, small business owners all had a boot put on their neck. So I think a lot of people came through that and they felt like they got gaslit on what was happening. And then a lot of it is the gaslighting. I mean, just being constantly told that what you see, don't believe your lying eyes.
Now, it's
something different.
Let me throw this in. Now, listen, folks, we got a realignment now, as you said. Arab people, Hispanic people, white people, black people. Oh, okay. Do not let the elites steal it, right? So I'll use Ted Cruz. Laura Ingraham on Fox says, the working people. You're not fucking working people. Your shit got taken from you. You're trying to pretend you're part of the gang so you can run the shit into ignominy once again. Don't let them do it. Don't let them do it. Our jobs are disappearing. Our savings are disappearing. The money's becoming useless. We're up to here in debt. The schools are terrible. Do not let them put on a Halloween costume.
But you said something, Jason, that a lot of people have not talked about, and that's the small business, the impact on small business during COVID, not just from an employee standpoint, but you think of all the loans that were forgiven for professional sports teams, the airlines, whatever. The SBA has still saddlebagged a lot of small businesses. There's no extension. There's no forgiveness. There's nothing. And nobody's talked about that. So,
Did you notice in this Inflation Reduction Act, these trillions we're throwing out there, we're talking to energy providers, we're talking to solar panel makers, but they never invited small business owners into the discussion, never to the White House, which is 2/3 of the employers in this country.
Right, exactly. And, you're talking about giving money to start a small business. What about what needs to be done for sustainability of those small businesses, the ones that are already here? So
already on their feet, already employing people.
Right, exactly.
And
you know what? Fucking this poll out of Iowa, like all of a sudden, Iowa's going 3% for Harris because there's a woman wave going on here. Well, it turns out that Trump wins Iowa by 13. This woman's over, and the media runs with it, right? As if
breathlessly
something's happening. It's wrong. It's on the front page of the New York Times. I need to cancel that subscription. I need to. Which reminds me, let me call my buddy Alan Feuer, who covers Trump. I used to work at the New York Times. It's my old time buddy. I'm just gonna call him straight up here.
They didn't deliver my paper Sunday.
And they didn't even put it on the porch, man. That motherfucker's on the sidewalk.
I mean, when I called and they said, we'll deliver it tomorrow, that would have been Monday. I didn't get it Monday either. I need my $10 credit for Sunday's
That's what
paper.
happens when you have like natural born old white guys who don't want to work hard and get out of the car and get me a Venezuelan to get my fucking paper on the porch.
Charlie, don't say that.
Well, I'm just saying.
There's a young
you
kid.
want to work hard,
There's a young
motherfucker.
kid that delivers a paper.
You still got a paper?
No. What year are you living in? What is he? Is he with his banana bike?
No, his mom drives him actually, and he throws because he broke something on my porch once. So yeah.
I remember we had a substitute, deliver the papers. So a guy got a sub job from his buddy, and he asked me to help him, and we just took him out to the woods and burned them.
That's not
I used to do that with magazines.
Say again?
Can I throw a question in? As a woman of color, how did the Harris campaign? Sorry, Gar. As a woman of color, how did the Harris campaign speak to you, or how did you feel about it?
Well, I want to take that out because I'm a person that's been in politics, and I've been a person that's been in media, and I've been a resident who is aware of and sensitive to the challenges of people. So, I mean, I'm all for, the first woman, the first this, the first that, but I wanted substance. I wanted to hear policy and not promises. I wanted to hear a plan and a conversation that didn't feel performative.
Got it? All right. Now let's call the New York Times and see if he answers. He's probably very busy. Okay. Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, Alan?
He practiced.
Yeah.
It's Charlie, man.
Oh, hey, man. What's up?
What are you doing? Where you at?
Just working away, plugging away, doing what I do. What's going on?
You doing the Trump, bro? So it must have been. Are you in the Manhattan office?
I am. I came in for the big night.
The big night. What did they serve? Did you give food? Did you get?
Yeah. We had some pizza. We had some Chinese. There's a good spread, man.
And that's it. I mean, what would you? That sounds like lunch. What'd you get for dinner?
Oh yeah, I had a little barbecue. Little barbecue. Some Mediterranean.
Really?
Yeah, Mediterranean.
Did they have kibbe?
Yeah, exactly. Kibbe baked.
Oh, it was baked kibbe. Oh, very sensible. Yeah. Bobby Kennedy would approve.
Perhaps, yeah.
All right.
What's on your mind?
We're doing. Oh, you're live, bro. You're on the podcast.
Well.
Okay. We'll fix it in post. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, so I'm thinking. Okay, Trump wins. Everybody got it wrong, but you're covering all of his court cases. Now that he's the president-elect, what's going to take us, if you could, through each one real quick? I know you're busy.
Yeah. Okay, I'll run you through the details and I'll give you the big thought. Okay. How about that?
Yeah, that's great.
All right. So 4 cases, 2 federal, 2 brought by state prosecutors, right?
Right.
So basically, as soon as Trump takes office, he will have the authority to basically tell his new attorney general to drop the 2 federal cases, right? The first federal case, one of them is in Washington. That's one where he's been accused of trying to overturn the last election. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is in Florida. That's the one where he's been accused of illegally holding on to all those super secret classified documents. And so, he's already promised to fire the special prosecutor, Jack Smith, who brought those cases against him to begin with. And, it'll be within his rights to more or less pull the plug on those cases. A little more complicated with the state cases, right? So one of those state cases is here in New York City. That's the one where he got convicted, right? 34 felony counts, falsifying business records to cover up the payments he made to Stormy Daniels, the porn star, right?
Yeah.
And he's got a sentencing date on that, at the end of this month. And so what he's probably going to do, even today, is go to the judge and say, "Hey, I am now the president-elect. You gotta put this sentencing thing off because you can't impose a sentence on me when I've got a transition to run. I got to get my people in order for the White House." So he's going to use basically the election as a way to try to indefinitely delay that sentencing. We'll see if it works. It may work, it may not. What's almost certainly not going to happen is, even if the judge says, look, I'm going to issue the sentence, right? It's not going to be imposed on him until after he gets out of office, right? They're not going to
right.
Even if he gets jail time, which is an if, they're not going to lock up the president-elect while he's trying to staff a White House. It's just not going to happen.
And the fourth is Fulton County.
Fulton County, Georgia. That is the state mirror image of the federal case trying to overturn the last election. That case is already kind of in limbo because the prosecutor who brought it had a romantic relationship with one of her deputies, and the defense found out about it. Excuse me. And there was this whole brouhaha, and it's like tied up in appeals of whether she should even remain on the case. That said, for sure, Trump will at least attempt to say, hey, you can't pursue a prosecution against a sitting president. It just goes counter to the nature of trying to you can't run the government while you have these things. Again, no guarantee that those arguments will work.
Let me pause you right there because we got Sky TV in here. Do you hear that? Do you hear what's going on in this country? The only reason I don't cancel the New York Times is because of this guy, because he's that good. He's telling you, look at the state of the country and the courts, and we're in a position. Imagine the prime minister has to go to court on some ancillary matter, and what that does to governance in the state of the world right now. It's despicable almost. I'm sorry, that's not you, Alan. That's me. But give me the.
That's right. That's you.
Yeah, that is. Give me the grand thought.
No, so the grand thought is this. Once Trump had 4 criminal cases facing him, how do you? What's the move, right? What's the strategy? And Trump's strategy was to make a big bet. The wager was he put everything on the possibility that the political process could actually outrun and defeat the legal process. And what I mean by that is he put all of his energy into winning the political argument in order to have the power to basically dispose of the legal problem.
So the big summation is it worked.
It did work.
It's amazing.
I don't know if that's good for us.
I don't know
for
either.
The country, for the rule of law, but
I don't know
question it worked.
Amazing times we're living in, man.
It's amazing times, man. And there's
you're the guy documenting it. And it's not, I know you got to go, so I'm just cutting you off. So I'm going to give you the last thought. But, dude, I love you, and I'm proud of you. And I mean it when I say, sometimes I just get mad. And I keep the New York Times to light my fire in the winter. But you're the guy. You're the reason I hold on, man. Dude, you're one for the generation, bro.
Wow. All friends.
All right. How much are potato chips? I'm assuming you're in the staff room.
I don't eat potato chips, man.
I do. I used to eat them all the fucking time. They gave me the worst seat in the newsroom. They were like,
don't you remember that? I had your seat. That's how we met.
Yeah, when they were fucking us for forever. Late night rewrite guys.
That's right.
Rewrite guys.
That's right.
And
we shared that seat. We swapped on the ship.
We did.
Yes, we did.
We did. My man. I love you, man. Write me something good today. I'm reading.
All right, bye.
All right, bye. All right, you know what, guys? That was great. Nobody wants to hear any more about the elections. See you next week.